Hello everyone, good morning, good evening, welcome to daily PMP class. All right, so let's start question number 1. All right, so Lala, you have chosen option C.
Yeah, so you're recently been assigned as a project manager for this project, and what is the what is the high level of team motivation and performance throughout the project, right? So what is the best approach to achieve this? I think having a regular communication with the team and focus on team building activities, you keep the team involved and together and collaborate with one another and keep them motivated. So after you have that, then you can slowly establish a reward system. You kind of motivate, keep them engaged and kind of give them a reward. So I think the best option is C here. The best approach is option C, and then we can do all the other things, right? Then we can go with D, and then ensure work-life balance, and then seek out different strategies, their opinions, and all of that.
All right, thank you. Anton, you have chosen option B.
Um, Good evening, everyone. Yes, I think that B being keeping work-life balance to reduce burnout maintenance strategy would be like a long-term benefit for and that will play during like the entire project duration.
All right, thank you. Carlos, you have chosen option D.
It was a tough one, but establishing a reward system, it doesn't say which one, but if you make sure that everyone has a goal to reach to, maybe they can keep engaged.
All right, thank you for detailed explanation. Now let's read the question. It says you have recently been assigned as the project manager for an agile project. You are keen to maintain high level of team motivation and performance. So we want to motivate team members, right? So what we should be doing first, or the most important or effective action, seek out different strategies to enhance the team's performance. Uh, this could be the right option if all B, C, D are incorrect, right? So let's talk about B, C, D. So B is ensure work-life balance to reduce burnout and maintain team energy. So yes, work-life balance could be one component of team motivation, right? So if we talk about Herzberg's two factors theory, the theory says that there are two types of factors. We have hygiene factors and we have motivator factors. Now, this is one of the hygiene factors, work environment, right? Or work conditions. This may impact dissatisfaction, but it won't impact your motivation. So we can easily eliminate option B, right? Because it does not directly impact the motivation of individuals. Have regular communication with the team and focus on team building activities. We have been discussing again and again, like team building activities are helpful where you have conflicts, right? Where team members work in silos, where is lack of collaboration or communication, right? So you go with team building activities. We're talking about motivation here. So team building activities do not directly impact motivation, so we can eliminate this. Option D, establish a reward system to keep the team motivated and engaged. This directly addresses the concern reward. So have that reward-based PAR or that transactional relationship where if they're performing really well, you appreciate them, you give them reward. So this is in line with Herzberg's two factors theory. So correct answer is option D. Establish a reward system to keep the team motivated and engaged. Let's read the explanation. Next question. All right, Mohan, you have chosen option C. You're on mute.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Good. Sorry. So yeah, in this question, they're asking about the role of the development team in the requirement prioritization. So really, I think this was discussed before as well. The role of the team is to collaborate with the product owner to prioritize requirements, and also understanding the team's technical capabilities, right? So I think C was the best option.
All right, thank you. Suhas, you have chosen option B.
Yeah, the prioritization is basically done by the product owner. So, so option A looks good because that's where you have to do this. But then it also means that it has to be collaborated with development team. Basically, product owner needs to take some inputs from the development team, like what are the technical feasibility and other things, right? Uh, so, so option B looks a better choice than option A. So I thought because you have to also see whether it is feasible or not, and then that will help him to know whether we can prioritize this or how we can deprioritize this.
All right. So Suhas, two things. What do you think about this underlined text but doesn't participate in prioritization? If team members are not participating in the prioritization process or prioritization activities, how they are reviewing the prioritized backlog and providing review and feedback?
That's a bit of a confusing statement here. Yeah. So I thought product backlog, product owner takes the inputs from the development team. Then I mean the B looks to be a contradictory then, right? Uh,
Okay, and also you're saying like product owner needs to understand sequence and stuff like that. They need input, right, on feasibility. So if you read option C, it says the development team collaborates with the product owner to prioritize requirements, ensuring that technical dependencies and team capacities are taken into consideration. So your point regarding sequence or feedback or input is addressed here, right?
mm.
Okay, so most of you have chosen option C, so correct answer is option C. The accountability or ultimate responsibility lies with the product owner. However, team collaborates with the product owner and they all do it together, right? So correct answer is option C. All other options are incorrect. Option A, the development team has no role. No, they have role. Because if we read one of the agile principles, it is development team works in collaboration with business team, right? So they work collaboratively to prioritize the requirements. So they take into consideration the business side and the technical side. So option B, we have already discussed. Option C, the development team only works on the task assigned by the product owner with no involvement. So again, it is similar to option A. So correct answer is option C. Let's read the explanation. Next question. All right, Mohan, you have chosen option A.
I mean, the the question says where the functional head or the department head is directed agile teams to focus more on different projects concurrently, right? Um, and the change will limit the team that the team needs to dedicate to each project. So it seems like it's really as a servant leader, right? Trying to get to the issue and understand what the issue is and problem solving with the team. And I think A kind of lines up with that, where the project manager is the project manager is kind of analyzing what the workload is, additional workload is for the new projects, and then making informed decision on what the resource allocation. B seems to be more of a passive approach where you're kind of logging it as a risk and then understanding what the mitigation would be. And again, C is also a passive approach. D again, empowering the team. Really, there's um, no statement in the question where the teams are not empowered or that's nothing of that sort. So.
All right, thank you for detailed explanation. So Lala, what's the problem in the statement? What's the issue here?
So looks like, to be honest, I had a hard time understanding the question. So the department head is directed on a project manager to take a look at the two scope project concurrently, right? At the same time, which is a complex project at the same time. Am I correct? Am I totally reading the question wrong? And then that kind of limits the project lead to actually, do the work for both of these projects.
All
So I
right.
don't know if I'm really understanding the question. It's really complex question to understand.
Yeah,
So what is
yeah, go ahead.
so I'm like that's how I understood the questions, that there's a one team lead and he has to oversee two complex projects with different scopes and complexity. So what do you
Mm-hmm.
have to do as a servant leader? How do you can to facilitate this transformation? So log as a risk concerning a team lead capacity and create a mitigation plan. So how is that going to help me here? I have two projects that have, so that's why I eliminated B. Empower the team to acquire skills necessary to advance the project independently. I mean, then these teams not going to be able to, even if you empower them, they're not going to be able to perform the work on these two. So to be honest, this is a really complex question to comprehend.
All
So I
right,
went
all
with
right.
C.
You
No, A
you are on
actually.
the okay. From problem identification perspective, you pinpointed correctly. Like the problem is that you have organized or you have added more agile teams. Now, as a result of that, you have team leads they need to spend more time. Now, as a servant leader, how team leads should react to this situation when you have more agile teams and you need to look after so many projects, what you should be doing. That's the problem. So your problem identification is correct. Okay. Let's take one more comment. Meherdat, you have chosen option D.
Oh, my apology for background noise. I believe that I would have done the same because functional leads, necessarily, they are not the best people who know everything, but they are across multiple things. So for each project, if they can assign an expert and empower them, they can do the job.
All right, absolutely. So if we read the question again, it says a departmental head has directed the creation of more agile teams. So now you have more agile teams, number one. So this to manage project different scope and complexities simultaneously. Now this change will limit the time that team leads can dedicate to each project. Since we have more projects now, we have more teams, so team leads would be having limited time. You understand? Now, what team leads should be doing? So as a servant leader, how should the team lead facilitate this transformation? So one of the functions or purposes of servant leader is to make sure that team members are self-organized, right? So if you have less time, how you would be managing the project? Through self-organization. So correct answer is option D, empower the teams to acquire the skills necessary to advance the project independently because you have less time now. If you have less time, go with self-organization, go with delegation, let the team manage the work, right? So if you would be micromanaging, you won't be able to look after all the projects. So correct answer is go for self-organization. That is what we call servant leadership, where we give autonomy and freedom to team members. So correct answer is option D. Let's read the explanation. Very important question from exam perspective. So from this question, you can assess the difficulty level of the exam. So this is how your exam would look like, right? Let's read the explanation. Next question. All right, Mohan, you have chosen option D.
And clearly, this seems to be a tangible and intangible benefits to the program, right? Because this is not part of the project charter. So that's why D seemed like a good maximum value realization, of the project, right? Where you kind of quantify how are we going to document the tangible and intangible benefits.
All right, thank you. Vivek, you have chosen option D.
Yes. So as in question, it is mentioned that it does not meet the financial approval criteria, and it is anticipated to enhance the employee collaboration and all the internal like benefits. So with those internal benefits, it's only possible that we can quantify the tangible and non-tangible benefits mentioned in the question, and that's how we can come to the final how the value can be maximized with this particular project.
All right, thank you. Most of you have chosen option D. So yes, that is correct. When we define the approval criteria or when we develop business case, we take care of tangible and intangible benefits. So if we read the question, it says, although the product doesn't meet the financial approval criteria, it is anticipated to enhance employee collaboration. So we need to take these factors into consideration as well, like employee collaboration, which is intangible benefits. It can be quantified as well through proxies, improve workflow efficiency and increase overall employee retention. So it's not always that you're getting monetary benefit, right? So different projects have different objectives. Some projects have monetary objective, right? And some projects are aimed at achieving these intangible benefits, which then translate into monetary or financial benefits. So if we really want to understand the business value for this project, we need to quantify the projected tangible and intangible benefits in the benefits management plan. Let's read the explanation. Next question. All right, Lala, you have chosen option C.
So, Agile project has started, and the sponsor requests you that you have to regularly inform the stakeholders about the progress and the value being delivered on your project. So, what is the best approach that you're gonna do this, sponsor request fulfilled? So, conduct earned value analysis daily and report the findings to the stakeholders. That will tell us, how much value been delivered, right? So that's why I went with involve stakeholders in development process. I eliminate that. Share value stream mapping. Um, that I also eliminated. So I went by elimination also B as well. Showcase the product. By showcasing the product, how is that going to show you how much value being delivered, right? So that's why I think earned value analysis would be a best option.
All right, thank you, Lala, for detailed explanation. Jashri, you have chosen option A.
Yes, sir. I eliminated B and D in the first place, showcasing the product to stakeholders and involving stakeholders in the development process. So I didn't feel those were suitable answers. And out of A and C, I picked on sharing value stream mapping with stakeholders more than on value analysis because we are talking only about the value being delivered, and I think more than earned value analysis, value stream mapping be the suitable solution here.
All right, thank you for explanation. I couldn't understand your complete explanation, but you said more than earned value analysis, value stream mapping is better choice. All right, Manmeet, you have chosen option B.
For showing the stakeholders regularly inform the progress and delivering the value, I personally thought showcasing the product at the end of each iteration would help them to see what progress we have made, and what's coming next and what have been done. Like it comes in three stages, like this is what we try to do and this is the product and that's the next step we are doing. So that's a kind of communication that we can showcase via showing the product by each iteration. That's something I felt is putting more up to the questions requirement. That's why I picked option B.
All right, thank you, everybody. Now let's read the question. It says, an agile project team has started working on the project deliverables. And the sponsor emphasizes the need to keep stakeholders regularly informed about the progress and whatever value is being delivered. So what's the best approach? So Agile is iterative process, right? So what we do is we divide the project in small time boxes or iterations. Length of an iteration varies from 1 to 4 weeks. So that's your development cycle. So you develop a piece of functionality and then you show it to customer to seek feedback. So the best way to explain what exactly you have developed is by demonstrating the product, right? So that is done during iteration review meeting or sprint review meeting. So correct answer is option B. Showcase the product to stakeholders at the end of each iteration means do product demonstration. When you demonstrate the product, then they exactly know how much work has been done, what has been done, or how much value we have achieved so far. So correct answer is option B. All other options like share value stream map. Value stream map is an entirely different thing. So value stream map is like, it's a workflow that creates value. So you want to understand the process. When you want to evaluate the process, you read the or analyze the value stream map. It's an entirely different thing. So this can't be the right answer. Conduct earned value analysis. Normally, earned value analysis is used in waterfall projects, right? So we don't use EVA in agile projects because for that we need planned value. And in agile, it is difficult to have planned value for the entire project. Involve stakeholder in the development process by assigning them some tasks. Yes, involvement really helps, but regularly informing them about the progress to key stakeholders. You cannot assign tasks to all key stakeholders. So this is again not a viable option. So correct answer is demonstrate the functionality or product that you develop after each iteration. So this is how they'll get to know how much work has been done or how much value has been delivered, right? Correct answer is option B. Let's read the explanation. Next question. All right, Vivek, you have chosen option D.
Yes. So in the question, it's mentioned the previous projects were closed due to funding issues. So looking into the issue log will not help. It will just give the information about the issues encountered in the past. Final product could not be, service or result could not be available since it was stopped in between. So we cannot be the right answer. And lessons learned again, like it's a lessons learned when only some issues or some blockers has been identified, and that only we have found some alternative solutions. So those details will be found in the lesson learned, but actual project closure or the reason why it was like previously terminated, where it was terminated, all the information can be found in the closure document. That's why I've chosen option D. Yeah.
All right, thank you. Carlos, you have chosen option A.
Yeah, maybe by looking at the, not sure why. I mean, you don't know why it was terminated, so you need to look at the issue logs, and definitely the company kept going with the projects that were being successful. So this project might have been terminated or stopped because it didn't look promising. So maybe the issue log will tell you why.
All right, thank you for explanation. Nikki, you have chosen option D.
Yeah, I was kind of going through the question and trying to eliminate some choices, and I was thinking that the issue log. It wasn't an issue for some. It didn't say that there was it was a funding issue, but not necessarily resources or something like that that was a problem. So that I didn't think would be listed in an issue log. There was not. It didn't finish, so there shouldn't be a final product. And I think that the lessons learned repository is not done until the project is completed. So I may be wrong, but that's why I was thinking that whatever documents they had finished up to that point, you could go back to those phase projects or what they had done and look over what they had completed at that time, and from there go and see where you needed to begin at. So that's why I went with D.
All right, thank you for detailed explanation. Now let's read the question. It says, a few months ago, your company had to terminate several projects due to funding issues, right? Now, this problem is at the organization level. You have funding problem. So one of these projects has now been restarted and you have been appointed as the PM. To understand the specific reasons why the project was previously terminated, where should you look for this information? Now, issue log talks about project related issues at project level, right? Now here, the problem could be like you have funding issues and some projects are being terminated. So there could be a reason like these projects are not important for the organization or of not that priority level. So there could be multiple reasons, not just funding issue. So in order to understand the specific reasons, we can go deeper. Now, option B, final product, service, or result, that is not there, as Vivek mentioned. Option C, lessons learned repository. Now, lessons learned is, you learn lesson, okay, for example, what went right, what went wrong, and how you responded to that situation. So it's about particular situation, it's about particular event. If you have that event, then you see, okay, what went wrong. The reasons for termination or reasons for product closure are documented in final project report. So we develop final report, and in final report, we document reasons for closures. So there could be multiple reasons for closures. For example, lack of funds could be one of the reasons, right? Project is no more needed because it's not a priority right now, right? Project is no more needed, or functionality is not required because let's suppose customer doesn't need it. So there could be multiple reasons. So the specific reasons, if we want to understand those are documented in final report, and final report contains reasons for project termination or closure. So correct answer is option D, project or phase closure documents. All other options could be helpful, but exact information about closure reasons are documented in project final report, which is a closure document. Correct answer is option D. Let's read the explanation. Next question. All right, Robin, you have chosen option C.
I think it was easy for me because I've been in an arbitration where I've lost. So, so the arbitrator, part of the arbitration proceedings is that the decision can be binding and that both parties must adhere to the decision.
All right, thank you. Carlos, you have chosen option B.
Yeah, same as Robin. I've been in arbitrations, and before making a binding decision, the first thing that happens is facilitate discussions to help them reach an agreement. So yeah, I agree with Robin 100% too.
All right, so you're changing your answer, right?
Yeah, yes, yeah.
All right, okay, thank you. So yes, that is correct. Arbitration is a dispute resolution mechanism, and you appoint a third party or an arbiter, and whatever they decide, that decision is binding. So option C, the arbitrator will listen to both sides and make a binding decision that both parties must adhere to. So there is no choice. If you read option A, the arbitrator will provide a non-binding recommendation. No, it's a binding recommendation. The arbitrator will facilitate discussion between to help them reach a mutual agreement. No, this is not, consensus or mutual agreement. So this is not reconciliation. Option D, the arbitrator will take the dispute to court. No, that is called litigation. When you take the matter to the court, that is called litigation. So correct answer is option C. Let's read the explanation. Next question. All right, Vivek, you have chosen option C.
Yes. So in the question, it's mentioned the project manager needs to like find out if establish a effective communication. So effective communication should be like interactive, like both the ways. And only option C has the interactive communication where we are sharing the information and getting the feedback. That's why like more relevant to the question.
All right. Thank you. Manmeet, you have chosen option C.
A very similar reason. This change is very crucial, and it involves specialized expertise from different departments. So I believe having an interactive communication model will help them to have no confusions and better communication, and they can also have the feedback session. That's why I picked option C.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for detailed explanation. Most of you have chosen option C. Now, what is interactive communication model? Interactive communication model is a model where you communicate and you seek feedback, right? So for example, if I send you something and then I'll be asking for a feedback, okay, what do you understand from this? So every time I will be sending you something, I will be seeking a feedback. Now, this is not the case. It's not that always you need a feedback. So for example, if I say, please read these numbers like earned value analysis or your SPI is this. Maybe you need clarity if somebody doesn't understand SPI. But if I send, okay, the progress is 70% so far, right? I want to communicate progress and I say it is 70%. Now for this, you don't need any feedback. It is self-explanatory. Feedback is needed when you communicate across cultures, when there are language barriers, and when there are greater chances of confusion. You seek feedback. So normally when we communicate, we don't always seek feedback because it's a cumbersome process. It's not a simple thing. What is seeking feedback? I'm sending you something, then you will be encoding your understanding in a summarized way, and you will be sending that summary in the form of feedback back to me. I'll be reading that to make sure that the message has not only been delivered, message has been understood. So we don't always do that. Yes, we do that, but in some instances. So C can't be the right answer. This is a ideal situation, like, or this is doing something which is not required. Okay, so for effective communication, what we do, we make sure that we are communicating what is required by the stakeholders. So correct answer is prioritize the recipient needs over the content of the information. So rather than focusing on what you are sending, you should focus on what is required by the relevant stakeholders. So correct answer is option D. Option A, ensure that information is conveyed in a clear and easily understandable. Yes, it is important, but the most important thing is first you need to send the relevant information. Easy and clearly understandable information that is not required would not make information effective. Only information would be effective if you're sending the relevant information that is needed, that is required. That's why we do communication needs assessment. Why do we do that? To understand the right needs of stakeholders. Make sure that messages sent are successfully delivered, right? So simple delivery would not ensure that communication is effective. So correct answer is option D. Let's read the explanation. Next question. All right, Mohan, you have chosen option B.
Yeah, I mean, in the salience model, right? What does the urgency factor relate to or refer to? I mean, I thought the degree to which, you know, you have to respond to the stakeholder, depending on where in the grid he or she falls in, is important, and how soon you want to respond to them, or, you know, take your time, etc. So really, that is the urgency.
All right, thank you, Mohan. Suhas, you have chosen option B.
Yeah, similar reasons. The reason is basically we are trying to see what is the stakeholders, how do I engage the stakeholders, right? So I was between B and D. So I initially selected D, the category of stakeholder requirement that requires urgent resolution, but that comes later, right? So first we need to understand where the stakeholder placed, right? So that we need to uh, basically categorize them. So that's where I choose option B over D.
All right, thank you for detailed explanation. So you can expect simple and straight question like this in the exam as well. So I thought this would be much easier question, but I can see different options. Like some of you have chosen option B, some of you have chosen option C, and I can see 3 or 4 D as well. Okay, so urgency means how urgent it is to engage with the stakeholders, right? From urgency from time perspective. So for example, it is urgent to fulfill needs and demands of the customer, right? It is highly urgent, and it is highly urgent for the sponsor as well. And maybe some stakeholders who have less power, that won't be much urgent. So correct answer is option B. Urgency means the degree to which a stakeholder claim require immediate attention. Those who have chosen option D, the category of stakeholder requirements, we're not talking about requirements here, right? So for example, if stakeholders have 2, 3, 4 requirements, we're not talking about that. We're talking about stakeholder itself, right? So for example, sponsor, anything from the sponsor requires urgent attention, right? So we're not talking about requirements, we're talking about categorizing stakeholders in different categories. So highly urgent stakeholders, or urgency high means it is, or the need that stakeholders, their needs are fulfilled immediately, or they require immediate attention. So correct answer is option B. All other options are incorrect. Let's read the explanation. Last question. All right, Carlos, you have chosen option D.
Yeah, I mean, you think that the team lead is doing exceptionally well, but the client has expressed that he's not satisfied. So maybe just a communication between the client and the team lead to understand the concerns and put forward a plan or for a solution. Communication, yes.
All right, thank you. Anton, you have chosen option C.
Yes, I think there is no need to send your team member to meet the client. It's your job as the project manager to find out what made the client think one of your team members is not doing well. Maybe it's some bias behind it, and this is what you need to find out first before you can find a solution.
All right, thank you for detailed explanation. Okay, Manmeet, you have chosen option B.
A seems escalation to me. Um, D does not make any sense that I should send the team lead and meet the client and they should talk by themselves. So C, client is not satisfied. So there must be some misunderstanding between client's head and something is going on between them. So I thought B option, facilitation, would definitely help us to have a clear minds. That's why I picked option B.
All right, thank you. Lala, you have chosen option B.
Yeah, for same reason. So there's we have a team lead who's performing well from our, perspective, and the client is not happy. So you can't just fire the team lead because you already know that the team lead is doing well. Have a face-to-face meeting with the client, and then if I show the client that, well, my team lead is doing well, but then the client might not be happy, right? Like, well, so that's why um, I think if as a project manager, you kind of facilitate with the client and the team lead, and then let them discuss their concerns. Like, just open up the conversation, say what's the issue, like why the customer is not happy, right? So they can come with some type of a resolutions. You facilitate a meeting with them. If the team lead goes meet with the client, and then they come to a resolution though, so I feel like that would be another good option. But then what's the purpose of you, like, you know what I mean? It would be better you facilitate the meeting for them.
Absolutely, and thank you for comprehensive explanation. So correct answer is facilitate a meeting. So the takeaway or principle that we are using here is have direct communication. So if the problem is with the team member should be involved, right? So for example, if you are discussing in the absence of team member and customer is saying your team member has this problem or that problem, so you won't have any opportunity to listen to the other side of the story. So if you facilitate a joint meeting where stakeholder or the client, they discuss their concern in front of team members, then team member may explain or may respond like if those concerns are legit or not, right? So facilitate a meeting between the client and the team lead where you are present. That would be helpful in reaching the conclusion. And as Lala mentioned, if you send your team members, then what's the point of you having there, right? You being there. Then team lead should be doing everything and it should directly addressed by the between the customer and the team lead. So correct answer is option B, facilitation. So in the exam, if you see an option facilitation, meeting, direct communication, involvement, inclusivity, do not ignore that option, right? Most of the time that option is correct. So correct is option B. Let's read the explanation. All right, everybody, we're done with today's session. So just put your score in the chat window. What's your score in today's session? 60%, 70%, 70%, 30%, 60, 60, 60, 50. Wonderful. I'm happy with your performance. If your score is less than 50% means you need a lot to prepare. Anything less than 50 is problematic, right? It doesn't mean you're not a good professional or something like that. It means there is lack of understanding in terms of PMIism, like how PMI wants you to respond to these questions, right? So there is nothing right and wrong. Even I don't know a lot of concepts, right? Right. Despite teaching for last 10 to 15 years. So please don't get discouraged. It's a learning process. Go through these questions again, or as I mentioned again and again, write down takeaways. So you should have a list of 7 to 8 takeaways or 10 takeaways after each session. Also, my next course starts on September 7th. I have changed a lot of things in this course, right, to make it more interactive. And I have included a lot of games. So this would be really interesting. So you can share this with your friends and colleagues and people who are watching on YouTube. You can just drop a text here to get detail about the course. So you can drop a text or WhatsApp. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. Take good care of yourself. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.